Shalom everybody, it's Kalayla Kelly, your Irish Jew, and today I'm reading a story about Boulder, Colorado. Colorado is a place in the United States that is quite left-wing and therefore naturally anti-Israel. Colorado suspect posed as a gardener and planned to kill group, court told, as reported by the Brisbane Times by Colleen Slevin and Eric Tucker. So this fat this dude here, I don't know why he doesn't have a shirt on, but apparently if you're going to go and kill Jews, you should do it without a shirt on. It makes it more effective, I suppose, efficient, I don't know, as you're throwing those Molotov cocktails. So he wanted to basically harass a group of elderly Jewish people who have been meeting regularly to commemorate and to call for the release of the Jewish Israeli hostages who are still being held by Hamas in their ghoulish prison system, their ghoulish underground tunnel system that they spent your billions of dollars on. Well done. He was going to kill all of these old Jewish people. Some of them are old, some of them are young, but he had second thoughts and only threw a couple into a group of 20 people yelling Free Palestine and accidentally burning himself in the process. Clearly a very smart and intelligent individual. I always find that the people who are the most anti-Israel are the smartest, the most intelligent, the most sane. Not. 12 people were injured in the attack, and he had gas in a backpack sprayer and wanted to spray it on himself because he planned on dying, and he wouldn't forgive himself if he didn't kill himself. Apparently, for some people, for some very bright and intelligent people, killing themselves in the name of a place somewhere overseas is so important to them. They would martyr themselves and that they would die for something that is far away from them, that they have no experience of, but they're that passionate about it. How sad. It reminds me of that guy in the United States last year or the year before who set himself on fire. Just such a waste. Completely unnecessary. Hamas doesn't need your help. Hamas doesn't need your help. It's got its shit organized. It's doing its thing. It doesn't need lunatics killing themselves in the United States to help. It really doesn't help them. If you want to support Hamas and the terrible shit show that is Gaza, then you should just fund Iran directly, fund the regime in Iran, the regime that stones young women to death, the regime that throws gay people off buildings, the regime that imprisons Baha'is and Christians and Jews and anybody else who's not a militant Muslim. Mohammed Sabri Solomon, 45, planned the attack for more than a year and specifically targeted, what he described as a Zionist group, authorities said in court papers, charging him with a federal hate crime. Apparently in some stations in the US, they weren't calling it a hate crime. The police in Colorado, again, a very left-wing, woke place, if you like, the police didn't want to say that it was terrorism. They didn't want to say it was a hate crime because they weren't sure. It wasn't clear. I mean, he just said he wants to kill Zionists, aka Jews, and Free Palestine. Apparently, though, that was just too much for the left-wing police to get their head around. So the local police apparently were very like, oh, we don't know why it's happening. Why are they attacking these old people? Oh, it's just too early to tell. It's just so hard to know motive. And the FBI apparently were present or got involved and were like, yeah, it's a terrorist crime, of course, hello. Megyn Kelly does a nice rant about it. Anyway, they eventually filed separate criminal cases against Solomon, charging him with a hate crime, that was the federal guys, the FBI, and attempted murder, the state prosecutors. You see, the state prosecutors, again, I reiterate, they are left-wing and woke. They cannot abide by the idea that somebody killing in their beliefs, somebody killing Jews for the sake of Palestine or for the sake of woke ideology, they cannot accept that that's possible or that it should be nameable. They want it to be anonymous. They don't want to link the idea of being pro-Palestine with being pro-terrorism, although we've just seen so clearly that it clearly is. Name me another time when an American citizen of Jewish descent has attacked a random Muslim shouting, "Free, free Israel, free the hostages." If anyone should be pissy, it should be the Jews, right? Name me a single Jew in Australia that's run after any random Muslim and been like, "Free, free the hostages," and just started throwing Molotov cocktails. Never happens. It's always one side that commits the violence. Isn't that interesting? Anyway, this is the idiot. He set himself on fire because he's inept. There he is. And apparently he was there on a visa granted by Biden. Well done. So smart. Just, you cannot get sharper minds in the United States besides the Biden administration. They were just really the pinnacle of intelligence and strategy and sound foreign policy. Well done. He wanted to kill all Zionist people, and he wanted to kill these Zionist people. Look at these elderly people. A couple of elderly people, a wheelchair, a couple of younger people wearing hats, holding signs, terribly threatening, terribly rude, terribly horrible. And it began at the Jewish holiday of Shavuot, and barely after a week after a man who yelled "Free Palestine" was charged with fatally shooting 2 Israeli embassy staffers. Yeah, it's horrific. It's seeing that elderly woman going down was really upsetting. My grandmother, who is of Jewish descent, I can just imagine that could have been her, and that is really, really horrible and upsetting. And this is the effect of propaganda, the effect of hatred, and the effect of people living in a mindset that's obsessed with this political situation, that is swallowing the lies of the Gazan health ministry ad nauseum, that expects and suspects the absolute worst of Jews and of Zionists, and are completely brainwashed and completely radicalized mentally. And it's really horrifying that Jews in the United States are not safe. I mean, if Jews could be safe anywhere, you'd think Palestine, or should I say Israel, and you'd think that they should be safe in the United States, where Jews have flourished, historically speaking. But everywhere you go across the West, Jews are being attacked, individual Jews who are minding their own business. Again, some of them might not even be pro-Israel, let alone Zionists. But like I was saying in another post, this conflation of Jew with Israeli is endemic. Let's not pretend it's anything else. Let's stop pretending that people who say, you know, "Free Palestine from the river to the sea, get rid of Zionists, Israel's bad." What they're really saying deep in their heart is Jews are bad. They really don't like Jews. And they keep trying to hide behind the idea that it's about Israel, or it's about the IDF, or it's about Netanyahu, or it's about extremism, or going too far, or collective punishment. But at the end of the day, it's a double, triple, quadruple standard that the anti-Semite has in their mind. This virus that makes them obsessed with hating on Jews. And so things that Jews do or Israelis do are beyond the pale. But if anybody else did the same thing, you know, not as interesting. No news if there are no Jews, you know, that old saying. I think this will keep happening across the United States. I think they're going off on it. They're inspiring each other, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane that you are attacking Jews and then claiming that you're on the right side of history. How demented. And just as a reminder, historically speaking, the Jews have outlasted every single enemy over the last 3,000 years. So good luck with that, pro-Palestinian Nazis. Good luck with that. You're going to lose, I guarantee you. Jews and Israel aren't going anywhere. News brief, news flash, news alert. Better to suck it up and deal with it and acknowledge that, like some parts of the Middle East have finally kind of gone, yeah, okay, all right. Better to catch up to speed and join that group and move forward so that your part of the world can be prosperous and successful. in whatever way that is. But the whole religious, fundamentalist, death trap, death cult bullshit that you've been obsessed with since 1948 and earlier, actually, it ain't gonna win. You just ain't gonna win, because the Jews are eternal. They are an eternal people. No matter how many Molotov cocktails you throw. I want to find a Bible verse about the Jews being God's eternal people, because I think that that's really important. And no, I don't know it off the top of my head. How dare I? How dare I? I need to brush up on my Bible. God's eternal people. Let's have a look. If anyone knows their Bible and they can help me out and give me the right passage, which Bible passage it's from, where it says God's eternal people specifically, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, stay safe and shalom.